To tell this story, we have to go back to the beginning. You see this Spielberg-looking guy? That's my grandpa. And you see the fussy baby in his lap? That's my older brother. I'm not there yet, but Landon, the one that made our grandpa a grandpa, is there. And he's the same guy that made our Uncle Matt, Uncle Matt. You see why this all begins with them? Now, if you fast forward just a couple more years, yep, right there. There I am. And there my cousin is too. If you're keeping track, I've introduced you to 5 men. 5 men who will experience their own intricate lives. But for a single week, they'll embark on an unforgettable journey together. Some odd 20 years later, my grandpa has asked us to see if we'd like to accompany him on his dream trip to the Mighty 5.
Holy shit.
So when he texted us saying, "Gentlemen, would you guys be interested in a 5-day, 5-park trip to these national parks in Utah with me?" I knew we had to do it. Drop everything. Drop work, drop school, it doesn't matter. Because 5 days of hiking with these 5 dudes would surely be life-altering. To gaze at sun-kissed red rocks while walking with my family by my side is an experience that I wish every person in the world could have. You get to see new places. Push yourself to limits you never thought you'd go.
Chase has not moved. You coming to sit?
No.
Why not?
No sitting on that. No sitting on that.
You get to try new things.
What flavor lies beneath this dark disguise?
You first. Just woke up too.
She just woke up.
Yep. It tastes like a mix of like cough medicine and Skittles. Oh yeah. Maybe it's lean. It might be lean. I hope.
And we do all these things, all because we're family.
Nice cold bagel to start the morning at 5:30, right?
Yep. With no coffee.
No coffee. Wow.
I think there's right ways to live in an RV. We're not doing that.
No, we're definitely not.
You might want to remember what Landon just said. Regardless, this is the first of our 5 hikes, and we've started this adventure in Zion National Park.
Big fan?
Wow.
Look at that.
And with our first steps out of the RV, Grandpa's dream trip, and those lucky enough to have joined him, has officially begun.
You can barely see Grandpa's. She was your socks.
With our matching socks, we boarded the tram, and the guys are on their way to Angel's Landing.
0 people have died.
Since 2004, 0.
Since 2004, people have died on that.
Why
Excited?
does it say that?
There's our family. Hopefully they look down and see us. There's Landon in the white. Hey! That's insane.
We're coming.
As we separate this early morning and cover stretches of unfamiliar land, we witness the utter beauty of rising sunlight casting shadows over mountains surrounding. And I can't help but think how similar this hike feels to the journey of life. challenges being overcome, people passing by us of all ages, and beauty being found every which way you look. Despite some of us being exhausted with 5 hours of sleep and subpar living conditions, we're all here to endure this climb, whether that climb is this singular hike or the climb of life. The important thing is that we're all experiencing this. While we're physically separated, we're spiritually connected through the beating heart of family and the views strained into our memories. This is not something we will soon forget. This is not just a hike. This is life. Is that technically first hike down?
Yeah.
Success.
Let's go. Yeah.
Want this one?
As if one wasn't enough, this short little 2-mile walk at the Riverside Trail in Zion National Park was our final excursion of the day. Successful first day so far, you think?
Oh yeah, what a beautiful place.
I know.
I mean, I went on my own little walks down by the stream and I look up, it's a cathedral.
Before hitting the road and literally through a mountain to get to our campgrounds in preparation for day 2.
One way out and it's down.
We gonna fit?
No, we're not gonna make it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're driving in the middle.
Wow. In darkness. And there we go. The rumors are true. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's bright.
After some much needed showers and an early start on dinner.
This is our dinner. This is boy dinner.
Boy dinner.
Boy dinner,
Boy dinner. So yummy.
boy dinner.
Boosh party? Angel party? Voodoo party?
We do party.
The boys are getting situated and ready to rest at Bowers Canyon Ranch. One of the most sought after hikes was completed today,
You ladies all right?
and we're in need of a lot of rest if we want to continue our success to conquer the Mighty 5. Second day. Probably got like 11 hours of sleep and just still so exhausted. Anyway, let's rock.
We're stopping at a coffee shop on the way too. Oh, baby.
As you can see, we take our caffeine intake very seriously. If you've heard the word hoodoo in the past few minutes and have no idea what we're talking about, they have to do with the park we're going to. If you know a lot about hiking in Utah, you may already know where we're going. But if not, I'll have Grandpa tell you where we're going.
And this is for what park? What park is this?
Bryce Canyon.
Now on our third tram of the trip, we're headed over to Bryce Point here at Bryce Canyon National Park. We've started this day with an immediate descent on the Peekaboo Loop Trail, and if you know a thing or two about loops, that generally means that we have to go right back up. Now, thankfully, we didn't do the full loop, but even down to the little arch was more than enough. It was at this point when I realized this was actually a hiking trip. As I previously said, we completed one of the most sought-after hikes yesterday. While yes, Angel's Landing is pretty outstanding, these little hoodoos are quite the spectacle themselves. Our next trail is pretty much the main attraction of this national park. It's nearly a 4-mile hike, accompanied by these hoodoos all along the way on Bryce Canyon's Rim Trail. How extremely spoiled am I that my life has led to this very moment. Walking step by step with my family, gazing at the elegance that stretches forever. Well, maybe not step by step.
Insane. Why would you do that? That's crazy. He looks like the smallest man on the planet right now.
While we recoup with Grandpa after our respective hikes and get ready to hit the road, I remember that tonight is a very special night. We've decided to go off the grid. No campsite, no phones, no connection to the outer world. Just a couple of guys in nature enjoying each other's company. This little mountainside road is home for the night, and as the light disappears over the rocky horizon, we wind down with fireside chats and burgers with the boys. While the feasible choice would be to get an early start on sleep to prepare for the next day and another hike, there's a reason we're out here in the middle of nowhere. We chose somewhere near Escalante, Utah, which is home to some of the most surreal sights you will ever see. While the Milky Way watching was taking up most of our time, we finally hit the bed at 1 a.m., and with our wake-up call at 7 a.m. the next day, it surely will be a long day.
I think Chase needs Grandpa's CPAP.
Was he snoring?
Oh my God.
Chase
It was shaking the bed.
The worst I slept, but probably the most I've ever not slept. Ready? This will be a good sentence. The most I've ever not slept that was totally worth it. How else do you form that sentence? I don't know. Because just taking those pictures was insane.
There was so much shit going on inside last night.
I thought someone broke in at one point.
No, Chase got up last night.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I gotta go yak. My stomach hurts so bad.
He did throw up. I thought I heard someone throw up. Yeah. While the fireside chats and drone flights have transferred over into the early morning, we get some breakfast cooking and prepare for our third day. However, there's something brewing inside the RV, and no, it isn't just Chase's stomach. You hear that screech? Well, besides probably giving traumatic flashbacks for those who are on this trip and are watching this, I'm sure you can infer that that noise is not good. In order to drive to our next hike, we have to get the RV in driving mode. That means bringing in the sides, and as you can see, this side is not budging.
Oh boy.
Remember that off the grid, no connection to the outer world spiel I just went on? Yeah, about that. A developing situation breakdown.
Developing situation. We're stranded.
We are, very much.
The RV slide will not go in. We are off the grid.
No service. No service. For miles. No service for miles. We are walking to get service
There's a grid, we're not on it.
because our RV is broken.
And look around.
The RV is
This looked like service.
It's
You
great.
guys had the last connection, and it was like 5 minutes down the street that way. In the RV though.
We were like, this is the coolest campsite. This is so fucking sick. And now we're gonna be here forever.
So as we waste our precious time on trying to find service, I remind you of the first morning we woke up in the RV, and I told you to remember these ironic few words from Landon.
I think there's right ways to live in an RV. We're not doing that.
No, we're definitely not.
I guess we should have known better than to go into no man's land with an RV that's a little run down.
Did not expect this to happen.
You thought this would?
I mean, yeah. I can't put 5 dudes in an RV, go off the grid for 2 days, and not expect something like this to happen. How the fuck would this not happen?
And as the hours pass with no solution in sight, and connection is too far away, I start to wonder, will we make it to our next hike? Will we fail the challenge of 5 parks in 5 days?
You wanna know the number one thing in horror movies?
When they split pot.
Goodbye. We are legitimately stranded.
As we return back to base helplessly, I'm half devastated that we might not be truthful to the Mighty 5 journey, and half hopeful that my legs can get a break from hiking for one day. But I know we wouldn't be happy with ourselves if we didn't do this the right way.
Please, please. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's moving.
That's how far this has gotten.
Please. I didn't think this would ever happen.
It's all the way in.
Jesus, Lord and Savior.
Holy cow.
Let's
What is that?
fucking
2
go.
hours later?
More.
We did it.
What did you have to do, Matt?
Holy shit.
For all we know, without Uncle Matt figuring out how to make the slide go back, we would likely still be out there in the middle of nowhere all these months later. We're back where we never thought we'd be again, which is on the road, as strange as that sounds. I've never been so happy to be driving away from the coolest area I've ever been. We're heading over to Capitol Reef National Park. It's our third of the Mighty 5, which means we're halfway through and on to the latter end of the trip. A brief stop at the main visitors area, and Landon's convinced us to go on a small walk, quote unquote, to a nearby viewpoint.
Oh my god.
More than a small walk, later, we're heading back to the RV to get our hiking boots on and do the real trail that we came for.
We're gonna be better.
Time for us to beat them.
Except when you're a guy and you're around other guys, anything can be turned into a competition.
We just run. Go, go. We're totally beating them, dude. So smart. Even if we walked, we would have won.
Real hikers now.
Yeah. They think they're so fast. Slow pokes.
There's a little cut right there. We're gonna go that way.
I know, we saw you looking at it and we called it way before you guys did.
I was like, number one, Chase won't want to go in his bergs.
On our way to the next hike, and this time, it's a lighter one, which I think we personally deserved after a stress-filled morning. It's the Grand Wash Trail, home to valleys surrounded by towering rocks.
So cool.
It's a pretty flat walk, and while you may think these rocks are blocking our sightseeing, the fascinating thing about this particular hike is that the rocks are the sights to see.
Good?
As we venture deeper into the trail, it's quite apparent that this is indeed a lighter hike than the others. There's no 3-foot wide rock for Landon to tightrope walk on, or mountains that Chase and I won't scale. But there is still excitement and thrill here. While it's not in the physical elements, it's evident in the emotional ones. You see, there's something so extremely intimate about hiking with other people. You're out of breath and heaving for air, but you still try to muster up the ability to speak. You just love them so much that you want to talk as much as you can, as long as you can, while they're in your company and you're in theirs. Everything is telling you to preserve your breath, complete the hike, but you and the person you're conversing with sacrifice your breath to talk to each other. I'm not sure of a more beautiful sacrifice than that. Tonight, we were supposed to spend another night off the grid, but after the catastrophic morning we had today, we all came to the wise consensus to grab some food at a local diner and book a campsite instead. As we reflect on our journey thus far as the night grows darker, it's hitting me now that our time together here won't last forever. But it's up to us to make the most of it. So we start this morning a lot smoother than yesterday's, and after leaving our last-minute campsite, we're already headed to the penultimate location of the Mighty Five. It's none other than Canyonlands National Park, located in Moab, Utah, or as I like to call it, we've made it to Moab. It's only fitting that on our fourth day we hit 4 attractions.
Ready? Mesa Arch.
The Grand Viewpoint, and 2 of my personal favorites, the Upheaval Dome and the Aztec Butte, or Aztec Butte if we're getting technical. The first of the day started with the Mesa Arch Trail, which is a short 0.7 mile loop.
Hey. What you think, G-Paw?
I think you should have brought my walking sticks.
After a brisk walk, we're back in the RV, and it's on to the second hike already, the Grand Viewpoint Trail, a much bigger and longer trail which overlooks an everlasting landscape the whole route. You go up and down throughout the whole trail, using man-made steps or natural elevation. Through and on top of rocks too, the hike totals 1.8 miles, out and back, up to what I assume is the place they got the trail name, because this viewpoint sure is quite grand. In this world out here, we, and the earth it seems, are infinite. We've traveled miles, we've traveled decades, ditching our typical lifestyles and trading them for trail mix and hiking boots. We've walked all facets of life together, only the length of our strides now are longer. As we head back to the RV, it's time for one of the funniest named hikes out of all the ones we've done, the Upheaval Dome.
Shirtless grandpa in the driver's seat.
It's a presumed meteorite impact site, but knowing we only have one more hike on the day, we opted to just stop at the overlook and head on to the next one.
Just get the last one over with, please.
Yes. Last of the day.
Thank God. And then we're 4 out of 5 on the Mighty 5. That means we are 80% mighty. The final trail is...
Aztec beauty. Let's go see that butt.
The Aztec Butte Trail is our last hike today. A 1.6 mile long hike that's fairly flat, but the perfect place to cool down and aptly enjoy our lunch. I say that because these little storage huts are called granaries, where people used to store food and other necessities. A beautiful location for lunch and a view.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right side was just a rock, and then the left side was forming.
Back to the RV yet again for what will be our final drive to a campsite together. It's only right that we reward ourselves after the last 4 days. So, with some brats on the grill and Napoleon Dynamite on the outside TV, we prepare for one last day together. Luckily, the boys have scored on booking a place that's right next to a brewery. And we wind down the night and give cheers to the memories we're making in this moment. This is it, the 5th and our final day of hiking the Mighty 5. This trip has exceeded any expectation I could ever imagine. I feel that after everything, I won't be the same man as I was before Utah. I simply cannot put into words how I feel.
Go ahead, G-Paw.
Luckily, this day is just getting started, so it's time to get out there and complete it.
What'd you see? A lot of red rocks.
4 rocks.
I like this one about as well as any we walked. It's fun.
After a fun little warm-up at the Sand Dune Arch Trail, we're on to our second one already at Arches National Park. Our next hike is one of the more confusing ones in my opinion, because it incorporates a bunch of different trails. We hit the Primitive Loop, the Double O Arch Trail, and the Devil's Garden Trail, all in one hike. There's not really one specific route you're supposed to go on, and there's multiple paths people can take to get to the same destination. Funny enough, life is that exact same way. For now, we're just funneling our way to wherever our feet take us. You know, you can tell a lot about people through a hike. You can walk however you'd like, step wherever you'd want to step, or look at whatever it is that catches your eye. It's quite similar to our personalities. No hike is the exact same, no spirit is the exact same.
Oh, baby.
In a sense, hikes and humans are eerily similar and equally unique. It's the experiences that make both a man's life and a hike all so worth it. I mean, if it wasn't for experiences, why would we even be here? Without it, we're nothing. We're nobody, with no stories to tell. No reflection about the time we traveled to Mars, it felt, in a janky metal spaceship with wheels. One day, we'll blink, and we'll be 80 years old, and we'll gather over a campfire like the one we made under the stars, and we'll talk about the time we spent together here in the Mighty Five, when Uncle Matt drove us through a mountain, or when Landon used to lie about how long the hikes actually were. Here we are, one final hike to go. Thousands of steps later, and Landon's decided to push through the pain and go on one last heroic trail by himself.
Alright, gang.
Bye.
Meet back here. Right here?
Whistle if you need it.
Us four guys decide to take it easy and head up to an overlook instead. We'll say hundreds of things about this trip for decades to come that can all be explained in a singular text message that arrived in our group chat earlier this morning.
I wake up this morning thankful for this time we have spent together, for the wonder and joy we shared gazing at the stars, the road illuminated only by starlight. For your youthful laughs and playfulness, for Matt's driving skills, for Landon's careful planning, for G-Maw's planning insights and assistance, for Preston's kind nature and photography skills, for Chase's humor, optimism, and willingness to share his insights into wealth creation, and for the kind, helpful, manly hands that helped me stand when my old legs said tired. Okay, give me your hand and I'm up. To the point that getting up became a bit of a chore.
I yearn for the days I can experience something like this again, and although I'm aware that time is racing against us, whenever this video is played, our spirits will be everlasting in the Mighty Five. Our lives will be in the hands of these very videos you see before you, and the 5 magical days we spent together. Every time you watch this, we'll be in Utah again with our little broken down RV. We'll look up at the stars in Escalante and wish to walk among them, even if we are by the time you're watching this. Life itself is so valuable because you can't experience it twice. But for a few minutes, we can be experienced again. Hiking, talking, and laughing on your screen for eternity. Our souls will always be in the Mighty Five, coursing through the valleys, ingrained in the sand, and dancing in the wind.